Let all cats old enough to catch their own prey gather here beneath the podcast for a clan meeting. Welcome to Paws Clause, a podcast where we read the Warrior Cats books in chronological order. I'm Scout, joined by my co-host Jill, coming to you live from their new house. And today we will be discussing the 12th published Super Edition, Squirrelflight's Hope. Jill, congratulations!
I'm here on the ground at the new house, reporting to you on the 20 different bird species that I'm pretty sure I've already seen here.
Hell yeah! What is your favorite?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was really happy. We saw a goldfinch, which I was very excited about. Personally, I really like the tufted titmouse. I think it's just a very cute little bird.
I love a titmouse. They're so cute.
They look so pettable is the thing. Like their little head tufts look so soft and pettable.
It's so true.
I have heard but not yet seen the blue jays. They were arguing outside the house the other day.
Yes. A classic.
I love them.
A Blue Jay thing to do.
I love those bitches. They're horrible, but I love them.
That's how I am with mockingbirds. Everybody is always like,
mockingbirds.
I love them too. And everybody's like, mockingbirds are such assholes. And I'm like, listen, they are very territorial and it's okay. Don't be mean to them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got at least a couple of mockingbirds around here. There is a pair, like a mated pair of mourning doves that hang around.
Oh, blessed.
So, yes, we have a lot of birds. We got some hummingbirds. We got nuthatches. We got chickadees. We got cardinals. We got the whole gamut. We have a bunny that hangs in the backyard.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty great. There's a whole wildlife preserve out there in the back.
I love that for you.
I got a bunch of books on, like, local birds and plants to put in order to attract different types of birds and how to make a very bird-friendly yard. So that'll be nice. Zelda's been enjoying watching the birds.
Oh, yeah, of course. Beautiful cat TV for Zelda.
Oh, she's got 2 floors of cat TV for the same feeder. It's right outside 2 floors of windows, and she loves it.
Spoiled for choice.
She is. And now that we have a couch, she can look out the front windows, too.
Wow. She is living it up.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Zelda's she's having the best time. We took her out on the porch this morning because it was kind of nice outside.
Ooh.
Eric was mowing the lawn, which is a Herculean task because we have a huge lawn.
It's a big lawn.
So he was up on the deck having some water before tackling the front yard, and I was like, oh, it's nice outside. If Zelda gets off the back of the couch, I'll put the harness on and I'll bring her outside. So we took her outside onto the back deck, and she sniffed around, and we've got some the folks who sold the house left all of their plants. So we have a lot of potted plants and a lot of plants that are already in a small garden. Mm-hmm. We have one, I don't know if you're familiar with, it's called Creeping Jenny. It's like a ground cover kind of plant with these beautiful, bright green, sort of rounded leaves.
Yes, I have seen this before.
And the lady who lived here before, there's 2 pots on the back deck that have a couple of flowers, and then the rest of the pot is just filled with this creeping jenny that overflows over the side, and it's really pretty. Well, Zelda decided she wanted to sniff it, and she got her face all up in the creeping jenny and looked at me, and I wish I had my camera because it looked like she had a little green wig on. It was so cute.
I love that.
Yeah. So she's precious. She's having a great time. I am too. I'm having a good time. It's been a lot of work. Listeners, you cannot see, but the office where I am recording is currently a bit of a mess because it's just a bunch of boxes that need to get unpacked. So
You're not out of box hell just yet.
I'm not. I got a lot of the boxes in the library taken care of today, but there's still quite a few.
You sent me a picture. You sent a picture of the Warrior Cats books unpacked.
Yes, the Warrior Cats books have been unpacked. They are now load-bearing and anti-tip. I put one of the tall bookshelves. The bottom two shelves have all of the Warriors books, with the lowest shelf being double stacked. Mm-hmm. And then the other bookshelf has my entire collection of the deluxe editions of Berserk.
Which are heavy.
Heavy as fuck. So those bookshelves ain't going nowhere.
Those bookshelves are not going anywhere, baby.
Yeah, so my project today was figuring out if it's reasonable to try and fit a daybed in there. And I determined, yes, it is.
Hell yes.
So.
A library with a little daybed?
Hell yeah, dude.
Come on, man.
So, yes, not to bore listeners, but this is the first time Scout and I have recorded for the podcast since I moved, I think.
Yeah.
Because the last...
Yeah, because we took some time off.
Yeah, we took a break so that I could deal with moving and all of that, and so that Scout could focus on some freelance work.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back, baby.
Now we're back, and what a book to come back with, honestly.
I think it was before, when we took our, right at the end of our last recording, we were both...
Yeah, did it?
We both... I don't remember if we actually ended up putting it into the episode, but both of us were like, oh my god, I'm so nervous about this next book.
Both of us signed off of the last episode going like, I'm fucking scared, man.
Yeah. I was dreading. Not like in a sense of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to read this, but I was like, oh my god, what am I in for?
Exactly, yeah. I feel like this one has been haunting me in the same way that One Star's Confession was haunting me.
Yeah.
In a slightly different way, but like with the similar gravitas.
Yeah, I agree. But we're here, and
we're here.
I wanna ask you, Scout, since this is the start of a new season, how's the prey running over there?
Prey's running pretty good. My parents went on to celebrate their anniversary, their wedding anniversary. They took a little trip, like a week-long road trip up the coast.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, which was really nice for them to get away, to have a little time to relax. And my dad got to take some time off work, which he really appreciated. Mm-hmm. But that meant I was on my own, and I had to think of all of
living
my meals.
Living that bachelor life.
Living that bachelor life, having to make all my own food all by myself. I made some great stuff. I made a big pot of curry, and I thought, oh, I'll have the curry for like one dinner, and then I'll have the curry maybe for like 2 lunches. That pot of curry lasted me most of the week.
Hell yeah, dude.
And there's still curry in the freezer.
Hell yeah.
I was like, wow, I can't believe how much. It turns out when you make enough curry that you're used to for cooking for 3 people, and you're one person, it turns out it's 3 times the curry.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. No, the exact same thing happened to me when I moved out of my parents' house and moved in with Eric. Is like, and even when I would stay weekends at Eric's apartment, you know, he still had John Ryan. So like, I was still cooking for at least 3 people, 4 if Melissa was there. Mm-hmm. So moving in where it's just the 2 of us, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I usually make when I was at home. And I'm like, this is so much food.
So much more food, it turns out.
Fucked up. Yeah.
So yeah, I've still got some of that in the freezer for some other time. Actually, this is a reminder to myself, Scout. Some days you get to lunchtime and you're like, I don't know what to have. You got curry in the freezer, dog.
Yeah.
And then I also made a really tasty pasta salad. Ooh. And that lasted me for a couple nice days. I think I made the pasta salad like the day after Hollow Knight Silk Song came out. So then the day after that, it was like I played Silk Song and I ate pasta salad for lunch and dinner, because I was like, if I just keep eating the pasta salad, then I can play my fun video game.
Honestly, that is exactly some shit that I would do. I'm pretty sure I have done that before.
We have the technology.
Yeah, no. And pasta salad is really good. So, like, I don't blame you on that either.
Yeah. And then on the night my parents got back, I made a big pan of enchilada casserole, which is just like, it's enchiladas, but instead of rolling up the enchiladas individually, I layer it like a lasagna.
I love enchilada casserole.
It's good. And it was really tasty, and it was a great way to welcome them back. So that's my big food report. How about you?
So we have a nice kitchen in the house.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. I hadn't even thought about it. But yeah, kitchen upgrade.
Kitchen upgrade. There's a lot more room to move in the kitchen. I need to get an anti-fatigue mat. I ordered one this weekend. Just because, you know, standing
hard on your ankles.
It's hard on your ankles, and my ankles are already shit. But our kitchen actually has a fan. So a lot of the issues that I was having in our apartment with cooking was that it would get way too hot, which would then make me really like nauseous and lightheaded. So now I can cook and the fan can be on and I don't feel like I'm gonna die while I'm cooking. So
this is exceptional news.
Yeah, exactly. So I've gotten back into it, and we have so much counter space, so I can just like leave the appliances that we use just out on the counter.
Yeah.
So this week was the first week of us like not having people around. Like my parents came up and helped us twice, which was great of them. I don't think we could have done half of the stuff that we did in the time that we did without their help.
Shout out.
But this was the first week where we were like, okay, we actually have the kitchen set up. We actually don't have anybody coming into town. We can actually cook. So I made this spaghetti meal with homemade pasta sauce using Campari tomatoes, which are like these really sweet, flavorful tomatoes.
Love a Campari tomato.
I made some chicken stir fry.
Ooh, tasty.
And tonight we had pancakes and bacon.
Oh, I love a pancakes and bacon dinner.
Eric had chocolate chip pancakes, and I made pecan pancakes.
Yummy. Pancakes and bacon, underrated dinner meal, honestly.
It honestly slapped really hard.
And it's great. Like, it's great to have a big, fun, high-calorie breakfast like that, but also sometimes it can, like, you have that for breakfast and then you're like, I'm tired.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah.
So it's nice to have it at the end of the day because then, I mean, unfortunately, you're recording a podcast now, but in many circumstances.
Yeah, no, literally as soon as we finished dinner, Eric, like, grabbed his blanket, flopped on the couch, and was like, I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, I am too, but I have to go and do my podcast prep. Yeah, but it was good, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm happy to be back to podcast prepping and recording podcast. We have a cover that you want to talk about today, don't we?
Yeah, one cover. This is the simplified Chinese cover. It's not, it's pretty simple all in all, but I just really, really like, it's this beautiful prancing Squirrelflight with like her tail up in the air. She's sort of running through the fields of StarClan. We can see who I presume to be Larksong behind her, who looks very angry. I don't think he needs to look that mad, but I really, really like the sort of dandelion fluff that's sort of shining by her paws, and the way that the arc of the dandelion fluff kind of leads into these stars that are above her. And I really love the purples and dark blues of the sky behind her. I think it just looks really nice. It's very soft and pleasant to look at.
She's just so cute.
She's so cute. I love the tufts on her ears. I think her eyes.
I love when people give her the tufts on her ears, like a little squirrel's ears. It's so precious.
Any Squirrelflight design that is akin to a squirrel, like a red squirrel specifically, I think is such a delight and such a good, inspired idea.
I agree.
I love her.
She's great. Oh, man. I love her so much.
I love Squirrelflight, guys.
Oh, guys. I love this girl.
Oh, That's what I got. It's a short but sweet cover talk.
Yeah, the English cover is sadly, much like all of the other new Super Edition covers, has the standard, like, silhouetted cats on the front and then just a profile picture.
Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't speak to me. It's fine. Owen Richardson does a perfectly passable, characterless cat portrait.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little mean.
No,
Owen Richardson, I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry, Owen. You do your job, but I think there is definitely room for criticism of, especially because I think the newest special edition, one of the cats on there is like the exact same pose as a cat that's been on 4 other covers, and they just keep changing the coloring.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. It's really bad. Here, I'm gonna go find that post for you real quick.
Oh no. Oh, Owen.
Oh, and then apparently that cat is also in the background of the Elder's Quest cover.
Oh yeah.
And is on Thunder Rising.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, they're on Thunder Rising. They're just swapped.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
It's literally the same cat, just flipped. So
same face disease, but it's same cat disease. Owen Richardson is the only man that has it.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah, I don't want to drag him too hard, but this is pretty. Owen, honey,
yeah.
we can do better. We can do better, sir.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got for cover talk, and that's what I got for prey running. You have anything else to cover before we get into the summary?
No, but the day that this episode comes out, is, I believe, also the day that the 3rd Prophecies Begin graphic novel comes out. So, if you're listening to this the morning of, go see if your Barnes & Noble is doing a launch party. I don't know if I'm going to be going to mine because we have another podcast to record that evening. And unlike the other launch events, this one is not on a Saturday, but it is on a Tuesday night. And we have another podcast to record at the exact same time. And one of my friends is holding a launch party for his Kickstarter at the local game store. So I'm like, oh.
It's the busiest the busiest Tuesday evening you've ever had.
Literally. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll find out.
But even if you don't get to go, you, dear listener, should go.
Yeah, they're really fun, honestly. Like, I've been to the last 2, and they're just a blast. Like, there's so many cool people there, and the activities are very fun, if sometimes a little bit questionable in their knowledge of the Warrior Cats books. Which, you know what?
Hey, there's a whole section in this book where the author forgot most
that they
of
killed
the stuff
a character
that they had done before. They forgot. There's a lot of things that they forgot and contradicted in this book. We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm okay with the Barnes & Noble also making some errors sometimes. You won the tote bag 2 events in a row, and you sent me one, and now that is my dedicated going to the library book bag, and I use it every time I go to the library.
I love that.
All right. Are you ready for me to tell you a story? What if I did it all in this voice?
Oh, God. This is such a long one, though.
It's too long. If there was one where I could do the In a World voice, that would be maybe one day.
In a World.
It's been 3 months since the storm that raged over the lake brought the clans together, and surely, after everything they went through, everyone is satisfied with the shifting of their borders to make room for SkyClan around the lake. Right? Right? Wrong! Several leaders have decided they actually hate it. Wind Clan and River Clan won't stop complaining that Shadow Clan and Thunder Clan are wasting the hunting grounds they were given. Tiger Star threatens violence if River Clan keeps bothering him about it, which would violate Star Clan's clear calls for peace. Leaf Star doesn't like Tiger Star's tone, fearing he'll try to reclaim the territory he forfeited. And Bramble Star is extremely tired of all the other clans pushing SkyClan around. Amongst all the arguing, Squirrelflight proposes SkyClan move to the unclaimed land on the far border, between the lake and the mountains. This would restore most of the old borders without forcing SkyClan out entirely, but would require them to move their camp yet again. The proposal is met with mixed reviews. Leafstar is dubious about moving to unknown land, fearing unforeseen dangers. Bramblestar, meanwhile, feels his deputy overstepped by proposing something so drastic without consultation, and doesn't want SkyClan feeling forced into anything. Determined to get him on board, but dreading his refusal, Squirrelflight goes behind Bramblestar's back and meets with Leafstar, convincing her to tour the proposed territory, just the two of them, and scope its suitability. The land is quite nice. Nice enough, in fact, that it's already occupied. The sisters are here, settled in a temporary camp while their pregnant leader, Moonlight, Tree's mother if you remember, prepares for her litter's arrival. They explain they'll move on once the kittens are weaned, but the clans will have to wait their turn for the land. Fearing their peace disturbed, they make the ill-advised decision to hold Leafstar and Squirrelflight hostage as collateral against clan interference. This, of course, leads to immediate clan interference as the clans send a rescue party a few days later. Bramblestar is frustrated with Squirrelflight for her disobedience, adding a few more pebbles to their already rocky relationship. Tensions are soothed slightly by the announcement that their daughter Sparkpelt is expecting kids, though it highlights an absence in Squirrelflight's life, as she's been wanting a second litter herself. Soon after this, a skirmish between ShadowClan and the sisters leaves serious injuries on both sides. This incenses Tigerstar, already distrustful of outsiders after Darktail's near destruction of ShadowClan, and leads to Squirrelflight again disobeying orders to defend the sisters, bringing the wounded to ThunderClan for medical treatment. Bramblestar reluctantly swears his clan to secrecy about their involvement at the next gathering to avoid tensions ratcheting any higher. He works hard over the next few weeks to get the other clans to wait for the sisters' promised exit, even going so far as giving WindClan hunting rights on the territory they gave ThunderClan in the Border Shuffle. But word of that decision makes its way around the lake and brings Misty Star and Tigerstar to ThunderClan's door, as it sets precedent for RiverClan's old territory that ShadowClan is not prepared to provide. As discontent simmers, something else strikes ThunderClan. Larksong, Sparkpelt's mate, collapses on the verge of death from a sudden and unfamiliar illness, and Sparkpelt comes down with it soon after. Squirrelflight is sent to the sisters' camp, as the clan fears they may have brought illness with them. None of them are sick, but upon hearing the symptoms, they recognize it as meadow saffron poisoning. Squirrelflight rushes home armed with instructions for the cure, and is fast enough to treat Sparkpelt, but not to save Larksong. He suffers a seizure and dies shortly thereafter. The stress of witnessing this sends his mate into premature labor, delivering 2 small kittens and 1 stillborn. Overcome with grief, Sparkpelt shuts down, refusing to have anything to do with the kittens outside of their feeding. In a last-ditch effort to keep Tigerstar from declaring all-out war on the sisters, Leafstar calls for Tree to act as mediator between the clan cats and the outsiders. He works through his sour feelings about his estranged mother to deliver the clan's ultimatum: move now or be forcibly driven out. Moonlight stubbornly refuses to back down. This prompts the clan to ready a march on the sisters. On the eve of the confrontation, Squirrelflight and her sister Leafpool both have nightmares of kits in peril. This prompts them to sneak away to the sisters' camp and check on Moonlight, who is now quite overdue. She's having a complicated labor with one of the kittens breached. Leafpool is able to safely deliver the litter, but the duo can't slip away before the clans arrive. Instead of informing them that 3 newborn kittens have just been delivered, and hence it would be in pretty bad taste to attack, the sisters choose to obfuscate that information and provoke violence. Moonlight and the kits are evacuated to shelter in an unstable pile of rubble, which promptly begins to collapse. Squirrelflight and Leafpool rush to get the kits out. They manage it just in time, but the rocks cave in on both of them. They wake up in StarClan, where it's explained they're close enough to death to visit, but not dead yet. They're then forced to defend their sins in the eyes of StarClan or risk not being allowed into the afterlife upon their inevitable death, now or later. Both of them pass, but not before having everything surrounding the birth of Leafpool's kits exhaustingly relitigated for the umpteenth time. Squirrelflight is anxious to return to her body. Pulled back and forth between life and death, she realizes she is determined to keep going. But Leafpool explains she won't be joining her. The sisters share an emotional goodbye before walking down their diverging paths. In the aftermath of all this, we discover Moonlight was another casualty of the attack. But her kits have survived and are being nursed in SkyClan until they're old enough to travel. Arguments on this entire situation's handling remain fraught, but the leaders encourage putting everything behind them and moving forward as the borders are redrawn and SkyClan finishes moving again. Bramblestar and Squirrelflight apologize to each other and promise to never let things get that bad again. The two of them share a moment looking up at the stars, wondering if they can spot a new one, as Leafpool watches over them.
Yeah.
This book is wild.
There's a lot in this book.
There's a lot in here. I entered this summary thinking this won't be that hard. It's like a very linear story. It doesn't jump back and forth as much as some of the stuff that we've read. You know, it's single perspective, so there's not a lot of perspective jumping. And then I got into it and I was like, there's a lot that happens in this book.
Yeah, there's
a lot more that happens in this book than I thought there was, man.
There's a lot going on here. And
there was also some stuff that I didn't end up cutting out. Like, I really wanted to make sure that we mentioned the spark pelt stuff, for example, because I know that that is going to be important later on. Not in this coming arc, but in the arc after that, so.
Yeah. So, overall thoughts.
At the risk of being attacked with hammers... I didn't think that it was as bad as people said that it was going to be.
I agree. I think there are a couple of incredibly glaring errors that I cannot forgive. Mm-hmm. But were it not for those errors, I feel like this would have been, like, actually a pretty good super edition.
Yeah, I feel like I had a much more enjoyable time reading the super edition than I have quite a few of the super editions. Mm-hmm. And that might come down to just like, there felt like there was more of a consistency of narrative here than there are sometimes. And again, kind of showing that the super editions that are the most successful, for me at least, are the ones that are very much about a story and not a biography.
Yes, I 100% agree. I will say my most glaring errors, are number one, everybody's way too antagonistic in this book, in my opinion. Everybody, like, nobody thinks except for Squirrelflight and Leafpool, and that's it. And maybe a little bit of Sparkpelt. Sparkpelt redeemed herself for me in this book a little bit.
She was a lot better in...
This is a completely different cat than the other one.
And then she had one moment where she was back to that extremely reactionary cat, and then it kind of like went away again.
But yeah, I think there were some glaring character mistakes made with side characters. I think Squirrelflight was perfectly fine. I fucking hated that stupid and this is the ice coldest take in all of Warriors fandom. That stupid goddamn StarClan trial was utter shit.
Oh my god.
It pissed me off so fucking bad.
Yeah, we will have an entire conversation about that.
I have zero positive thoughts about it. And, like, to me, that is a book ruiner. Like, that is, if I could handle the, like, general antagonistic nonsense from everyone else, if we had not had this goddamn scene. It is so atrocious.
It's bad. We will go. I'm sure we have a whole discussion about it in a little bit.
Oh, we'll definitely get into it, but it's bad.
It's bad, gamers.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I thought it was a really compelling story about, like, I think it was really just central to, like, all of the stuff that Squirrelflight has kind of dealt with in her whole life, kind of coming up and sort of becoming relevant again.
Yeah. We had a very consistent theme of motherhood.
Yes.
There's not a lot of times that we get one of these books that I would say has like a distinct literary theme in the way that this book feels like it does around motherhood. Yeah. And I thought that was I came away positively with that, especially because it felt like we got a lot of different angles on it and a lot of different sort of ruminations on motherhood, and not just the sort of bog standard thing that can happen sometimes in a warrior cat story where it just suddenly becomes about a cat who really wants to be a mom. Yeah. It felt a lot more considered here. And I will
say, like, I saw some criticisms that were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like so much of the story is about her wanting to be a mom. And I'm like, that's not all it is though. Like, she very clearly has other things that she finds like fulfilling in life.
Yeah, and it's kind of a story about her discovering that.
Yeah, but she also wants to have children again, which, like, I feel like those takes that I saw were like that whole like taking feminism to the extreme kind of thing that you see sometimes on the internet, where it's like you forget that, like, some of these people forget that feminism means like women can make their choices rather than like, instead of what they think, which is like all women should be like completely independent and not have to have kids or anything. It's like, no. The point is that she can choose whether or not she wants to have the kids. Yeah. And it felt very reductive, those takes, I feel, especially because Squirrelflight has had such a history surrounding having kids. She was lied to by StarClan and told that she would not be able to have kids, and she was devastated about that, and therefore raised her sister's kids. Then she was able to have a litter of her own. Like, she wants to be a mom, and she is also a girl boss. Like, she can be both, and you all need to calm down about it. Yeah. That's my onion.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, absolutely. And I thought that I figured, as I was reading it, I figured that there would be people who would come away from the book with that take. And I totally agree that I think that it's way more, there's way more to it than just like the authors deciding that Squirrelflight is suddenly going to be all about having family. Like, family and motherhood is so deeply tied into what Squirrelflight's adult life has been. It doesn't feel as out of place as something, for example, like the stuff in Leopard Star's Honor, which I think was harder to swallow for a lot of fans, and like from a character standpoint with Leopard Star. This feels very different.
I agree. No, and I liked it. I liked that that was a source of friction between her and Bramblestar. You know, I know a lot of people fucking hate Bramblestar for this book, and there are some valid points to be made there. But I feel like this is definitely more of a character than we have seen Bramblestar be in the previous arc, where he was just leader archetype. Like, we actually have like flaws in this man. Yeah. And, you know, some moments of friction where you're like, yeah, I can see both sides of their issue here. Like, they both are kind of realizing that they have like in some ways they do not have compatible views for what they see their future being.
Yeah. And I even think that both of them in some of these interactions, I think both of them have their moments of like reaching so far past what was actually said, like jumping to these conclusions. And I think they both have that in moments. I think Bramblestar fairly has probably more of those, but there was one really early on where Squirrelflight, where Bramblestar is sort of a little bit more lukewarm on the idea of having a second litter, and Squirrelflight is like, oh my God, he's just waiting for me to die so he can have a second wife and then he can have that kids with that cat. And I'm like, Squirrelflight, whoa.
It was definitely like an anxiety spiral there. I was like, oh girl, I see you. Sometimes you just get anxious about something and you read way too far into it and you need somebody to like calm you down. And she goes to Leaf Pool for that. And that's like one of the, oh man. Their relationship in this book.
It's really good.
It's so good. It's like if they took the relationship they had in Leaf Pool's Wish and like dialed it up to 10. Because like their relationship in Leaf Pool's Wish was really good. I remember really enjoying that. And this one too, I was like, oh, they're being sisters again.
Yeah, it's so nice to see them getting to spend time as sisters and having that relationship is really, really nice throughout this book and makes the ending all the sadder. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning before we get too deep into it, just something that I think is very interesting. The first 2 books of the next arc, The Broken Code, came out before this book.
That's wild.
Take place after this book. Now, usually I don't have that much trouble with like publication and chronology being different. In this case, this is like lore and character load bearing.
Yeah, I can see, and I think this is probably why a lot of people were pissed off about this book. I can see why that would be a major issue to folks who were reading as they released. Because the death of such a major character, which like, I get it. It fucking sucks that supplementary material is where you have to go to find the information about the death of a beloved character. I don't think that should be as much of an issue as it is, considering this series. You know, cats die between arcs all the time. And I understand Leaf Pool is very beloved. I love Leaf Pool, but I think there was a lot of vitriol for it happening in a super edition that I think was not necessarily founded. However, because this book was published 2 books into the series it proceeds, I do understand why folks who were reading at the time were rightfully pissed off.
Yeah, I think I don't have that much trouble with it being in a super edition because I think it's, at this point with the series, it's become pretty clear that the super editions often have
relevance,
like, important relevant stuff in them. They are not.
Especially after Tigerheart Shadow. Like...
Yeah, like I think specifically with Vision of Shadows and, you know, going forward from Vision of Shadows, and it could be a thing that like the fan base was still getting adjusted to them using the super editions a little differently.
Yes.
Which I think is valid. But I can understand being a longtime fan of this series, finishing Vision of Shadows, opening up Broken Code Book 1, and being like, what the fuck do you mean? Where the fuck is Leaf Pool? Where did she go?
Yeah.
And like thinking, if I thought for 2 books that like they were never going to go back and we weren't going to get to see, you know, the context of that.
Yeah.
I think I would be pissed. That we get the context in a super edition, I think is fine, especially because you can always go to your local library and get the super edition that you missed.
Exactly.
Shout out to your local library. But I do think this is another one, the same with Tigerheart Shadow, where the release order is weird.
No, it is definitely...
And probably just...
definitely odd.
Real quick, prologue thought, Squirrelpaw foresaw the tail suffix epidemic. She was ahead of the curve. She was saving us from ourselves.
Yeah.
Because in the prologue, she specifically says to Firestar, "You're not going to name me Squirrel Tail, are you?" Which I thought was really cute.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Should we, let's see. What were my...
I think it's good to talk a little bit more up front here about Bramblestar.
Yeah.
I know just tangentially from being in this fan base that a lot of people cite this book as being the place where they stopped being able to be in Bramblestar's corner and started really not liking Bramblestar, and just feeling that some of his actions in this book were beyond the pale in a way that made it so that they could not like enjoy the character or the relationship anymore.
I'll call out the fandom. Everyone everyone says he's abusive in this book. I'll say it. That's what everybody's saying. They're like, Bramblestar is abusive in this book.
Am I delusional? Am I just like not? Is there a thing I'm not? Maybe there's something here that I'm not getting, and like something that I'm not getting out of the text that other people are. But I felt like there were moments where he was being unreasonable. Mm-hmm. But I actually thought that overall, this was one of the most like, I thought this was a depiction of a relationship where the characters ended up like being allowed to have disagreements. And in the end, you know, there were moments where they didn't work through it in healthy ways, but they came around and there were a lot of good conversations between the two of them.
I agree. I don't think what goes on in this book, I don't think you can call it abuse. I think you can call it like disrespectful, obviously. Mm-hmm. There are some moments where I'm like, whoa, let's calm down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think that part of what makes it seem worse is that Squirrelflight is pretty much at the start of this book showing her insecurities about the relationship already. Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that Bramblestar is having some unreasonable and disrespectful moments kind of compounds in her mind, like, oh, he hates me. When it's very clear that he is simply, I'm not trying to excuse Bramblestar for being rude to his wife, because he is very certainly very rude to her. And please, if we are completely taking this the wrong way, let us know. But like, to me, it was very much like, this is a relationship that is on the rocks. Neither of them seem to be particularly happy at the moment. They have a lot of stuff going on in their lives that is bleeding into their relationship, and they are both kind of letting the politics of the clans kind of influence the way they are treating each other. Mm-hmm. I think it is an interesting thing to consider, the fact that they have roles in the clan that are so codified, and then they are also mates. So it is difficult for them to kind of separate their personal feelings from the way that they think the government should be run, basically. Yeah. It's like if the president and the vice president were in a relationship, but they also had differing views on certain things, and they were trying to, it's tough.
Yeah. I think that some of the things that people could be feeling with it also are that there are some decisions that Bramblestar makes in this story, such as like he goes through a period where he very seriously sort of like micromanages Squirrelflight as his deputy. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're reading that as the actions of a husband, it's way more problematic than if you're reading it as the actions of a boss, which he is both.
Exactly. Yes, that is kind of what I'm trying to say, is it is a complicated thing to look at because of the fact that they have these positions and are also supposed to be in a relationship where they are equals, because, they are equals in their romance, but they are not equals in the realm of politics and in the, world of their clan. I will say there is a lot of my deputy should always stand beside me and should never question what I do kind of stuff that is not actually part of the code, because I'm pretty sure part of the code is that, like, the deputy is not supposed to just be the leader's yes man. They are supposed to be, like, someone to help them guide the clan, and if the cats of the clan think that the leader is being unreasonable, they have a right to say so.
Yes, I do think that element, and this is something that we saw with Rowan-Star in like Tigerheart's Shadow as well, and maybe it's something the Erins are purposefully drawing on, or maybe it's sort of a thing that they're falling back on sort of as like a trampoline to keep the bounce of the drama going. The deputy should not question me, the deputy should be behind the leader, is something that we're seeing sort of crop up more and more in the most recent arcs and that I think is a weird decision that they keep sort of pulling on.
Yeah, because I feel like I remember specifically one of the short stories in Code of the Clans was about a deputy who like told their leader off for like doing dumb shit. And so it is very much like, this is not, they are, I feel like in this book and in some of the other books, obviously, the Erins have forgotten the code that they wrote.
Yes. This could also have to do in part with sort of a new supplementary team coming in.
Yes.
You know, I don't know how much some of the, you know, supplementary errands are touching the manuscripts at this point, but I feel like I know that Vicky was out of the picture by the time this was written. She had been retired for at least 2 years as of this being written. So the team had to have changed at least, you know, in some way, shape, or form. In fact, Vicky did a lot of the editing, so it could actually come back to the team having like a whole new editor that we don't even know. Maybe there's like a mysterious editor that we don't know who it is, but mysterious new editor is the source of some of the dissonance that we're seeing in here. Would be interesting to know. I wonder who is doing the bulk of the editing now. I'll have to look into this for next time.
I also think, and this is a problem that has been cropping up a lot lately that I've pointed out, is they also ignore the no warrior can neglect a kit in pain or danger.
Yeah. In the defense of the clan cats at the end of this book, nobody tells them there's kits there.
That's so
which
true.
Is insane.
But they do know that she's pregnant, and they're like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna fight her. If she fights, we'll kill her. And it's like, hey,
this whole thing is such a mess. The confrontation with the sisters, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. There's just some stuff.
I also do want to call out what I think was good characterization with Bramblestar, in that I think he is 100% within his rights to be concerned about SkyClan getting pushed around and disrespected.
Absolutely.
By, you know, them being forced to move again. I think that his read on that situation, I'm on his side.
I 100% on that point. I 100% agree with him. I'm like, are we really making them move again? Let them fucking settle.
It's untenable that the solution that is said by the text to be ontologically correct and the best possible solution is for SkyClan to have to move again instead of everybody just stop being a little fucking baby about where they want to hunt their food.
Literally.
When they go on their journeys, when they get chosen for a prophecy and they have to go on a quest to go somewhere else, they're hunting in all kinds of weird places that's not the same place that they hunt all the time.
Exactly.
They could adjust. That, I think, is the thing that really like sticks in my craw for me about this book. I think that I had a lot of fun reading it because the character work tends to be really consistently good. With Squirrelflight, I like seeing her interact with all of these different characters. I really like seeing her in Leafpool, but like what it comes down to for me is that none of this needed to happen.
Yeah.
None of it needed to happen at all.
Yeah. There were a lot of unreasonable things and opinions that like just caused a whole heck of a lot of mess.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I don't think there should be conflict. I'm saying some of these opinions were distinctly manufactured by wanting to have drama rather than this is what that character would think.
Which, there's a weird dissonance to me because I actually thought that there was a lot of political intrigue in this book that felt a lot more complex than we've had previously, like in Raging Storm and stuff. All of that was so just arbitrary. And this is arbitrary, but when they're having the discussions, a lot of times, especially when we have things like, you know, generally, I think Tiger Star is being quite unnecessarily pushy in this book, being very, very clan forward versus greater good forward, and I take offense at that.
Yeah, this is not my boy.
But I do think that it's interesting and reasonable for him as the leader of ShadowClan, which almost was destroyed by an outsider, to have a lot of concerns about outsiders. And I think that the fact that the sisters opened with, we're going to hold these two cats hostage, was patently the wrong choice and put them on the back foot with like everybody except for the 2 cats that they were holding hostage.
Yeah.
Because if you're viewing that from an external if you're viewing that from the standpoint of any of the clan cats who weren't there in that camp, that is bad. That's no good. That's not getting off to a good start. So there was stuff in here like the mistrust of the sisters that I thought was really good, but the core issue of you could just wait a little bit.
They literally said, hey, we'll leave after, X number of days. And they're like, that's not soon enough.
That's not soon enough. Is the whole thing is that's not soon enough. And that's where it falls apart and weakens a lot for me.
Yeah, especially because it's one moon. How many times in these goddamn books do we skip like 3 moons?
It's not even leaf bare right now. It's still leaf fall. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine. Just give it some time.
Yeah.
My next 2 notes are funny sister things. Capital S sister things. My first one is, how do you think Tiger Star Prime would react to standing next to a sister and being dwarfed by her? I just think he would hate it so much.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think he would be so pissed because everybody's always describing Tiger Star, the original Tiger Star, as the biggest,
this big boy,
buffest, most glorious, handsomest, hugest cat you've ever seen. And I think him like standing next to Moonlight and being smaller than her would give him a complex.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love that. The other thing was there was a really good line between Squirrelflight and Leaf Star. I wonder what happened to the fathers. Maybe they ate them.
That was so fucking funny. There's also a really funny exchange. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about why Wind Clan cats were so short. And it was like, I bet it's because of the wind. Well, no, it's because their ancestors were like that.
Why were their ancestors like that? I bet it was because of the wind then, too.
It was so good. I was like, oh, man. Sometimes they get you with these little funny exchanges. I always love when I find one of those.
Yeah, sometimes the books are genuinely funny.
Yeah. Okay, it's probably because my brain has just been like all 10 ways to crazy and fucked up because I've just been so busy. But like, I want to talk about the relationship of Tree and Moonlight because I feel like it's a lot more antagonistic than I feel like Tree was feeling about it in his novella. Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. Like, no, he was upset with her, obviously, but I feel like he didn't have that level of vitriol. He just felt like he was more sad than angry.
I also felt like he was more sad than angry, but I think you could read him as being pretty angry in Tree's Roots. And I think some people did read him as pretty angry in Tree's Roots and actually thought of that being like out of character for how angry he was in Tree's Roots. So it could be like a difference in our readings on it.
Okay.
Because I'm more in your camp. I didn't think that he was that angry.
Well, I think it was just like the way that when he first sees Moonlight, he's like, hello, mother. And it's like, whoa, okay, that's not my silly, goofy guy.
Yeah. I liked him being obstinate about her.
I did too, but it felt like immediately like so harsh and
yeah.
I was like, this doesn't feel...
Yeah, I think it came off a little bit strong for me, but in a way that I ended up liking it a lot because I think that it's kind of nice for him to have... He's such an affable guy, and I think it's kind of nice for him to be such an affable guy, but have this thing from his past that he just cannot let go of.
Yeah, for sure.
In a way that is interesting. I think it also could be a side effect of Tree's Roots being written after this.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Tree's Roots was the year after this.
Yeah, that might also be part of it, huh?
Uh-huh. So the characterization might have just been sort of drawn differently.
So Tree's been around for a lot longer than... Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
So this came out a year before Tree's Roots. So that could be part of it, too. I will say say, in seeing the way that Moonlight speaks to her son in this book, I think he's totally valid, because I thought that scene was so out of pocket.
Yeah, there's some moments there between them that I was like, okay, wow.
It's like such a well drawn bad parent situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's something that you can hear like your best friend's worst parent saying to them.
Yeah. Again, with the queer tree reading, the way that she keeps dead naming him.
Yes! Oh my god, you're so right!
Anyway, just leaving that one there for you guys to chew on.
She dead names him, and then she's like, compliments his new name, and then dead names him again later.
Yep. Yeah, just gonna leave that one there. Just because we have been going into this with a genderqueer tree reading, and that just further supports our little headcanon.
Yeah. To build off of that, I think that her line, specifically, the one that really ticked me off was the one that I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, whose words are those? They aren't your words. Who put those words in your mouth?
Yeah. Oof.
Like, why are you coming? I taught you to speak for yourself. Why are you coming here with words that somebody else fed to you or whatever? It feels extremely like parent who doesn't want to accept their queer child.
Yeah. And like, to be clear, that scene is 100% not about him. It is very much more about like the fact that he is speaking on behalf of the clans. But I do think that reading can be kind of extrapolated from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. My next, this is one of my what the fuck are you doing Bramblestar moments.
Gotcha.
Sunrise being gravely wounded and Bramblestar saying, we have to wait until StarClan says we can treat them. And the medicine cat's kind of just going along with that.
Yeah.
When the medicine cats are supposed to be like, I mean, they don't have more power than the leaders, but medicine cats have in the past been shown that they're the ones who can talk back to the leaders without really facing much consequence. Mm-hmm. Like, they have
adjacent power. Like, they have a specific different power.
And I thought it was really odd that, I don't think it's odd that Alderheart would probably like feel a little bit more compelled to listen to Bramblestar since that's his dad.
Yeah, but Jayfeather
and Leafpool like agreeing to wait. Although Leafpool is like very much trying to like get Sunrise out of Bramblestar's sight so that she can treat her. But it is like, there is such a lack of compassion from everyone in that scene. Like, yeah, it's not every
just Bramblestar. Cat it is like
no, we should let her die. And it's like, first of all, they have not done anything to harm you. Like, this is not an enemy. It is a very injured cat. Mm-hmm. And you guys are like, I don't know if we should help them or not. Like, I feel like there's common decency.
Yeah. I think lack of common decency in regards to the sister is a huge flaw of this book, in general. Just like a lack of common sense, lack of common decency.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene was like, this is not my beautiful ThunderClan, because everyone was like, why should we help her? It's like, you have helped other cats before. Like, let's calm the fuck down.
They do this every time.
They do.
Every time they're like, we've never helped anybody before. And I'm like,
incorrect.
Literally, you do this all the time. That's one of the things that everybody's always complaining about. Everybody's stereotyping you to be the helpers.
Yeah.
So, live up to your stereotypes sometime. Damn.
Right. So yeah, that scene, I think, was my moment of like, I cannot root for you in this moment, Bramblestar. This is a bad decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Do not have to hand it to Bramblestar in that instance. Even if I think I read it a lot of that coming specifically from feeling the pressure of the senior warriors. Like, Thornclaw was talking out against it really strong.
I need Thornclaw to shut the fuck up.
Thornclaw has taken
He's bad
on
takes
the mantle.
McGee.
He is taken on he is the one in the clan that is like the devil's advocate, but derogatory. We used to have sort of a pool to draw from. We had Dustpelt sometimes had really bad takes. Thornclaw could have bad takes.
Birchfall had some bad takes for a little while there, which was upsetting.
Birchfall has had some bad takes. Birchfall is like your friend who became a dad and got a little too conservative. That's always how I feel about Birchfall, of like, you were like cool and
you used to smoke
chill.
weed with us, but now you're kind of like a little bit of a narc.
Yeah, after you got out of the blunt rotation, you just changed, man. And now all of that falls on Thornclaw and on Blossomfall, unfortunately, as like being Thornclaw's mate. I feel like Blossomfall has unfortunately adopted some of the bad takes views.
Yeah,
everybody was just acting crazy.
Yeah,
that was bananas, man.
That was a lot. It was a lot to deal with, and I did not like it.
Interesting to note that Jayfeather got a prophecy from Hollyleaf in that scene, and like that never came up again.
Yeah, what the fuck did that even mean?
Like, I kept trying to find a way to apply it to the things that happened, and there really wasn't. It didn't map with anything, and it didn't even come up like when they saw Hollyleaf in StarClan later. So I think it was a dropped plotline.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a lot of interesting allusions to StarClan's silence, not being able to communicate clearly with StarClan, them going to the, like, stories of the medicine cats going to the moon pool and not getting to like speak to StarClan and stuff. And then that wraps back around way later in the book when Squirrelflight and Leafpool are on the verge of death, when Firestar has an offhand comment, or I suppose it's not that offhand, it's pretty pointed, of like, tell the clans to listen to us when we talk to them, which implies to me this obfuscation of the communication between the two, that maybe even both sides aren't 100% aware of, that there is like wires being crossed somewhere, or static in the reception, issue with the signal. In ways that are interesting, and we'll come back. But I really liked getting the little droplets of that here, sort of seeding stuff that I think is to come in the next arc.
I am very interested to see where that goes, because it is interesting to me that they're dropping hints of that here when we have an extended scene of StarClan berating two of our characters and very clearly talking to them a lot.
Yeah, though admittedly that's an extenuating circumstance. They're mostly dead at that point.
For sure. But it is very interesting to me of like having this situation.
It kind of a weird place to drop that.
Exactly.
In the book where where there's an extended sequence of the cats in StarClan.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Sparkpelt and Lark's song.
I'm sad.
I don't even like Sparkpelt that much, but I was feeling for her. It was so sudden, this poor boy.
Lark's song is such a, like, little ray of light in his couple of scenes that we see him in. And he's so excited about being a dad. It's sad. It's so sad. And, like, them wanting to be on the same patrols together because she's pregnant.
That was so cute.
What?
And the fact that it's like right, oh my god, it's like right as they get the cure that he dies is so sad. And poor poor Sparkpelt, like just having to like deal with that and also having just given birth is so rough.
Yeah, it's a jump start to postpartum depression.
Truly.
And it's every part of it is like manufactured to give Sparkpelt the worst day of her life.
Literally.
Because she also is sick, so she's in the medicine den, so she sees her husband die and goes into labor at the same time.
That's some Grey's Anatomy shit.
And one of her kits dies. It's just...
It was so... I really loved seeing Flicker Kit, like, in StarClan and him and Lark's song just kind of, like, being together like that. That was very cute.
Yeah. I was reminded a little bit of the end of Dawn of the Clans.
Oh, yeah.
When Greywing is dying, and the spirits of StarClan sort of come to collect him, and he starts saying stuff like, saying to his brother, you know, Brightstream is here, and so are your kits. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
That was sort of I was reminded so much of that, and like the idea of being able to see the children that you never got to know in the afterlife can be really, really powerful when they utilize it in these books.
Yeah. Well, and especially because when Squirrelflight and Leafpool end up hanging out in StarClan for an extended period of time, Squirrelflight gets to see and hang out with her kits that died when they were born, and they're like so excited to see her, and they hang out with her all the time, and it's like, oh.
And we get to see this. We get a really interesting little snapshot of what it's like to be a kit in StarClan too.
Oh
which
my
isn't
gosh.
Something
it's so
that
I love it.
That we've seen before, really, that like they are still kits. They don't really grow up, but like they still learn warrior. Like they're still taught. They still sort of have sort of unofficial apprenticeships with the other warriors of StarClan. They're able to eat fresh kill, even if they would have been too young to be weaned when they died. They're sort of allowed to explore around and just like be eternal children in a way that is very like heartwarming to see.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And especially when they're like, oh, let's go hunting in the trees. And Squirrelflight's like, isn't that dangerous? And it's like, no, it's fine. We don't get hurt. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, yeah. In a world where your warrior cats and, you know, kits dying during birth is like not an uncommon thing, and cats dying very young is not uncommon. It's nice to have this like eternal childhood for those who never got to have it is I think it's a nice little thing to have there.
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, going back to Sparkpelt specifically, it's really hard to see her so torn up after everything that happens.
I did mark down the vigil for Lark Song and Flicker Kit. Someone had gathered soft moss and tucked it around them as though hoping to keep them warm. And I was like, oh God! That
really got me. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Daisy.
Queen.
Yeah, literally. I talk up Daisy a lot because I think she's such a cool character that the Erins don't always utilize to the fullest. But I thought that it was this is like such a perfect example of why Daisy, as sort of a role in the clan, as the den mother, the sort of midwife cat, is so important, because she is doing so much to raise these kits that Sparkpelt just does not have, like, has not processed her grief enough to confront the fact that she needs to be mothering these kits in any more than just like giving them sustenance.
Yeah.
And Daisy is doing so much, not just for the kits, but also like clearly trying to sort of softly guide Sparkpelt in the right direction in a lot of these scenes too. And I appreciate Daisy, man. I just appreciate Daisy.
I'm really glad that she has taken up this role in the clan. I think should have been something that happened a long time ago, if I do say.
And it should be something that the other clans have, which I don't think they do. This is something that they should really be discussing this and like implementing this, I think.
Yeah.
Because I bet that you could find a cat like this that would want to sort of fulfill this duty.
Oh, for sure.
For every individual clan.
Breezepelt being a bitch again. Just want to make sure we mention that.
Yeah. There was a really good, I don't remember the specifics of what Breezepelt was saying, but at one point Breezepelt was accusing somebody of being disloyal, and somebody else snapped back at him.
It was Squirrelflight.
Snapped back at him. What side of the battle were you battling during the Great Battle, Breezepelt?
Yeah, she was literally like, you don't get to lecture me on loyalty. Who did you fight for in the battle with the Dark Forest? And it's like, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because everybody seems to just forget that and let him talk smack about anybody however much he wants. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Yeah. He did, but come on, Breezepelt. You had a whole arc, buddy. You had like a whole arc in Crowfeather's trial. You could be not like this anymore. It's okay.
He's got to be a pain in the ass all the time.
He's gotta be a pain in the ass.
I thought the exchange between Squirrelflight and Bramblestar before, like the night before they try and drive the sisters out was really good, and I wish it kind of hadn't been usurped by what happens tense in that whole event because they both like make their points very clearly and make them well, and there is like a moment of like them understanding each other and being like, I can't agree with what you're doing as a political move, but like I still care about you and love you as a person, and I'm sorry that we can't agree on this, but like this is not going to be something that I'm going to let tear us apart.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good scene.
And then, of course, it gets thrown out the window when Bramblestar is like, were you gonna let that cat kill me? And it's like, can we fucking calm down?
That was the biggest leap that he made in the book. I was like, Bramblestar, buddy, I know that you're like having a near-death experience, but still. And he even just kind of like brushes that off like... it's not in the text, but I read that almost as him being like, sorry, that was stupid. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Because then he's immediately back, like, locked into, we have to stop this.
Right.
But it was, were you gonna let her kill me? No!
Calm the fuck down.
Chill out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many weird choices, characterization-wise and just, like, plot-wise, made in that. Just, like, that battle is the battle of bad choices. From, the sisters not disclosing that there's newborn kits, and instead, like, provoking the clan into attacking them. I mean, you do not have to hand it to the clans. Mm-hmm. But I also really, in most of these scenes, I don't think the sisters are doing themselves any favors either. Like, there is a lot of antagonization of the clans by the sisters. And some of that is, like, sure, coming from a place of self-preservation, but none of it feels reasonable.
Yeah.
And the cave, quote unquote.
That is not a cave.
That's not a cave. That's a pile of mud and rocks. There is an absolutely unhinged moment where Tiger Star, like, sends two Shadow Clan warriors to destabilize it.
Yeah, to start caving in the roof. And this is after they know that the kits are in there.
Which is unbelievable, buddy. But yeah, I don't have any, like, anything more salient to say about. I just thought that was a weird. The whole thing was weird. Mm-hmm. The whole thing just felt strange and like a fever dream. Like, I was reading it, I'm like, is this the book?
Yeah.
And my next note is about Zarglan.
Yeah, we should talk about this.
Mm-hmm. So.
It's so much bullshit.
It's unbelievable. So for some reason, they even say Firestar says something like, you're lucky. This is, usually cats don't get to speak their case. This is just something that's decided, like, before they die, I guess. Or, like, it's just not decided with them. And I guess this is the behind the scenes on what happened to One Star.
Yeah,
like, is this what they were doing, but without One Star there?
Yeah.
It's a trial. It is like straight up a trial. And how do they choose these? How do they choose these cats? Who is making the choice?
They chose the hypocrite council, essentially.
Truly the fucking council of hypocrites.
Every fucking cat on that little council has done the exact same shit as these two, but, like, acts like they didn't fucking do it. Why is
he there? Why is Little Cloud there?
Yeah, Little Cloud doesn't even do anything.
Such a weird choice. Yellowfang, Blue Star, Mothflight, the fucking triumvirate.
I was seeing red.
And
Mothlight saying, you broke my rule, like a fucking wicked stepmom of StarClan. Like, girl, shut the fuck up.
Mothflight shut the fuck up challenge, difficulty level impossible.
I made that rule so that stuff like this wouldn't happen. It's like, no, the reason you made that rule was because you didn't have any support. So let's shut the fuck up, first of all.
You didn't have a daisy.
Also, the thing that pisses me off, once again, is Yellowfang being like, you guys need to defend yourselves for what you did. You told them to do it.
Literally, Yellowfang convinced them, not just told them, but actively deceived them into doing this.
Yeah. Why is she not on trial? Why are we victim blaming here?
Why is she on the council to decide their fate? She caused it.
It was
She
simply
caused
the most frustrating. Like, here's the thing. I rated this book pretty low on Storygraph, and I would have rated it higher, but this fucking scene took me out of it. I can't. It's simply... And every single time these cats, like Squirrelflight and Leafpool, point it out. They're like, hey, you guys did the same shit. And they're like, well, damn, that is a pretty good point. But you still need to defend yourself. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm going to read the note I wrote also, which is just another thing to point out.
Oh yeah, Ashfur being there.
Is standing right there. He's like right off screen is Ashfur.
He's next to Hollyleaf and she's like chill with it. I'm like, that's not my beautiful girl. She would not be chill with that. I don't care if he apologized. Get that man out of here. Why would a man be there?
Okay, Mr. Conspiracy to commit murder. Mr. Accessory to Hawkfrost's crimes. He's fine. He's in StarClan. He is fine. Nothing, no issue. But they're out here pelting Squirrelflight and Leafpool with the rocks of shame because they told a couple lies that they convinced them to tell.
Like no cat has told lies before.
Literally. Unbelievable.
But yes, please read out. I see your note here where you have presented the continuity errors, and I think we should point these out for those who maybe this is maybe they haven't listened to all of our episodes or read all the books or simply need a refresher on how many issues this scene has in the continuity and canon world building of Warrior Cats.
Yeah, I'm reading just directly from the Warriors wiki here because they worded it very concisely and nicely. So this is quoting from the wiki. The trial scene presents several different continuity errors. Number 1. In The Forgotten Warrior, Blue Star tells Jay Feather that StarClan does not judge the dead or choose their fate. That's not what happens here. They definitely are judging and choosing fate.
And Blue Star is on the council for that.
Blue Star's on the fucking council! Number 2, StarClan berates Leafpool and Squirrelflight for their lies regarding Jayfeather, Lionblaze, and Hollyleaf. However, in Leafpool's wish, StarClan themselves encouraged Squirrelflight to take Leafpool's kits, lying that she will never have kits of her own, and even promising to provide support for Leafpool before she is even aware that she is pregnant. And number 3, Mothflight states that they chose Lionblaze and Jayfeather as part of the prophecy, and they could have chosen any cat, but in The Fourth Apprentice, that book establishes that the prophecy did not come from StarClan, and the StarClan cats themselves were unsure who the 3 exactly were. That was the whole point of the Power of 3. The whole point of the Power of 3 and Omen of the Stars was that they weren't chosen by StarClan. The whole thing was that they were stronger than StarClan.
Yeah.
Anyway, this scene is crazy.
Yeah. Also, there's a fucking moment where they're like, oh yeah, Blue Star is living with Oakheart now so that they can be together. I'm like, they weren't really that in love. Like, whatever.
Whatever.
Sorry, that's just a minor quibble. I fucking hate the StarClan scenes.
Yeah, we got another bad one not that long after that one where Sandstorm tries to convince her daughter to die.
Oh yeah, I was like, that is, firstly, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
You mentioned, and we'll talk about it in the Erin Corner, you mentioned that this got removed in later printings.
Yeah, there's a specific line.
It's in mine.
Yeah. Do you have a first edition?
I do. I have a first paperback edition.
I think this is a first edition hardcover from the library.
So,
and I'm not sure actually if there's even been reprints of this yet, or if they've just committed to changing it when they eventually do reprints. Or if it's like different.
Yeah, here's the line here. You were badly hurt. You can choose to live, but your life in ThunderClan might be very different from the one you know now. What if your injured leg doesn't heal properly? You'll have a limp. Will you be able to be deputy? Will Bramblestar want you as deputy? You defied his authority when you helped the sisters. I know this is hard to hear, but what if he doesn't want you, even as a mate? Like, whoa!
Yeah.
And then, I don't want you to suffer any more than you have. Look how happy Briarlight is here. You don't want to return to a life like hers, do you? Like, okay.
Yikes.
Sandstorm. When would our queen Sandstorm ever say this?
Yikes, Sandstorm!
She is saying, and not only is Sandstorm saying this to someone, she's saying this to her daughter.
Yeah, it's I mean, we know that the Erins have historically been weird about disability, but this is really egregious.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's egregious enough that they've committed to changing it in future editions, but it's not just here because there's also a moment earlier when Squirrelflight sees Briarlight playing with the kits and is like, you never would know that she was crippled. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a really rough read.
Carrie, what are we doing?
I really cannot forgive them for this. Like, this is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it would be one thing if it were characters who were already shown to be ableist to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it isn't. Another thing entirely for these cats who have had absolutely zero, like, indication of that to, like, be spouting this shit is out of pocket to me.
Yeah. I also think that it's important to point out, I don't think that I think if you want to have a character that has these views, I think I think you should be allowed to have a character with ableist views. I think the issue comes here when the text sort of supports it as ontologically correct.
Yes.
That it was bad that Briarlight was disabled, you know?
Yes, 100%.
And
I
it's
agree.
like a horrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, And 100%.
There's nothing there's nothing here to contradict that or to like give a counterpoint or even to imply that it's not a good view to have.
Right.
Kind of I came away similarly from Spotted Leaf's Heart, where like, no, I think that we should have the space to have fiction about like a child being abused by an adult, but I don't think that text handled it in a way that ever pointed that out as bad, just sort of pointed it out as like a part of life that could happen, you know, and like never really addressed it as like a specific ill that was done to Spotted Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Absolute craziness out here.
Yeah. Do you have anything else before Leafpool's death?
I do not. Just that I think I could continue talking about how much I fucking hate the Starkland scene, but it would get nowhere because it would simply be us yelling into the microphone.
I mean, you're free. If you've got anything else to add,
No, I don't have anything except I fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm. It's not good. It's bad. It is in fact bad. How do we feel about Leafpool's death?
Is it an unpopular opinion for me to say, like, I didn't mind it?
I don't know. I haven't heard people talk about it that much. The only thing I heard people talk about is like, how could they do this in a super edition? Like, why was this not part of the like core series or whatever? And I'm like, you know, I've already said my piece on that. But like, I thought it was a good send-off. Like, you know, I'm of the opinion that we have too many of the old guard still hanging around in Warrior Cats, and that, like, there needs to be, like, some of these older cats they do need to pass on in order for us to, like, really truly grasp on to new main characters. And I feel like Leafpool's death I think it was done in a way that kind of honored who she was as a character. Yeah.
She died saving kits. She died helping people. And she kind of, it's not explicitly stated that they were like given the choice, but she did kind of get the choice to like decide, like, do I want to go back or do I want to accept this new role? And I think, especially for a medicine cat, like it kind of shows to me the difference between the way these two sisters' lives have kind of gone, because that's kind of always been their dynamic, is like one is the warrior, one is the healer. And I think the fact that the warrior one is the one who's like, no, I still have stuff to do. Whereas the healer is like, no, I think I can do better here. Like, I feel like it's just another way of kind of showing their connection, but their diverging paths to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your opinion on Leafpool's death?
I think I come around on it a lot like you. I think I just would have liked more time with her in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've had a lot of time with her. I think just knowing that we get Squirrelflight and Bramblestar both for a lot longer, and Crowfeather and Tawny Pelt, like we get everybody else who was involved in New Prophecy for so much longer. I think that I just feel a little bit not cheated, but just like sad that we don't get more time with her amongst the living. I'm sure that she does end up playing a role as like a cat in StarClan, and we'll probably get to see her still. But I think I think that's the thing I come around on, is that I feel sad that she didn't get as much time as her companions from the same time period.
Yeah.
But if she had to die here, I think this is a really, really good send-off.
Yeah.
And I agree that I think that it gives us time to sit with it. It shows us her being very happy, actually, to be in StarClan and be around these cats that she misses very much. And we do get sort of her, like, making the choice. I choose to read it as her making the choice not to go back versus like being forced out of it due to death. I think that she could have made the same decision that Squirrelflight did, and she chose to the diverging path there. Mm-hmm. And I like that.
I 100% agree. And I will admit, so as she dies and as Squirrelflight goes back,
oh, the little flashback scene.
Fuck,
me,
dude. I was about to start sobbing. That got me so, like, right in the heart, dude. The little flashbacks of the sisters, and, like, you can tell that, like, it's a memory, but Leafpool is also there because she knows things in the memory that, like, she shouldn't have, and so does Squirrelflight, and they're like, oh, this wasn't how it happened, and it's because Leafpool isn't going back with her.
Yeah, just and the last thing Squirrelflight sees is this memory of like her and Leafpool sitting and watching Lionblaze and Jayfeather sharing a rabbit with Sparkpelt, and Alderheart and Bramblestar is near there, and that's like their whole family, and Leafpool looks at her and says, take care of them. Yeah. Fucked up, man.
Up. It's making me a little teary-eyed right now. I just... It was so, like, that send-off was beautiful. I loved it so much. I just, man, these girls. That's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the falling action in this book, except exasperated narrator voice. In the end, none of this needed to happen this way.
Yeah.
Remember, kids. Maybe have a little patience, maybe do some proper communication, and you'd be amazed at the things that you can avoid.
Yeah.
Such as everything that happened in this book.
Such as lots of people dying unnecessarily.
Unnecessary death and displacement. I do like, I don't know that it's, I guess it's earned. I like the Moonlight's kits being named after Squirrelflight and Leafpool. I do appreciate that. That there's Squirrel, nice. Leaf, and Moon also to be named after their mother as well.
Yeah.
But the thing I kept thinking about is which one of those is the Tom? Which one is going to have to leave in 6 months?
Yeah, that's rough. I'm looking it up, actually. I'm sure they're mentioned in the Broken Code, because, like, some of the stuff that I was reading, like, some of the fan stuff I was reading was mentioning, like, oh, so that's why these cats were there. I'm like, okay, we must have some mention of them.
Interesting.
Leaf is the son.
Leaf is the son. Damn. He's gonna have to go.
Get the fuck out of here.
When he's 6 months old, get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Okay.
Take us to that Erin Corner.
All right, let's go. So circling back to the line from Sandstorm that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, I don't know the details of who or how many people wrote to HarperCollins about that line. Specifically the one I think about like you don't want to end up like Briarlight, do you? I think it was specifically that one, though I think that the whole monologue from her is pretty egregious. But I guess reader discontent was big enough that it made enough of a wave that somebody named James Noble at HarperCollins, I'm not sure who that is specifically. I did a cursory search and I couldn't find anything specific, but I also didn't go that deep into it. But he worked with HarperCollins and got them to agree to remove that in future printings. Sort of the thing that they said about it was, it was meant to be the view of Sandstorm, not sort of the view of the narrative at large. But even so, it shouldn't have been in there. I would argue that I think that the narrative as it stands does support Sandstorm's view here.
Yeah.
Which I think is the biggest problem. But notably, we have that statement from James Noble. We have HarperCollins saying that they're going to take it out for future printings, but no statement from the Erin team themselves on it, which I just thought was, I'm not saying that maybe they have said something and it just wasn't documented on like the wiki where I was looking. I didn't go any deeper than that, but I feel like if they had, it would have been noted. I thought it was interesting that who does and doesn't comment on these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's curious.
Other than that, working title for this one was Squirrelflight's Kin. I think this kind of ends up being reused later because we get Daisy's Kin as a novella. I think Squirrelflight's Hope has a better ring to it. I think Squirrelflight's Kin is probably more relevant.
Yeah.
But I like the sound of Squirrelflight's Hope better. And then I just noticed, in general, an exceptionally high number of like the smaller editing mistakes in this one too.
Yeah, there was a moment I noticed where Leafpool gets called Leaf Star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they said that happens twice. There were two that really stuck out to me. One was like two ThunderClan apprentices were commenting on something happening in a scene, and then in the next chapter, they walked into camp and were like, "What's going on? What was just happening?"
Yeah.
And then the other one was there was a line during the terrible trial scene where Crooked Star said something, and then the next line said Crooked Star spoke up for the first time, and it's like, no, he was just talking. He was just talking right there. There's at least two instances of like dead minor cats reappearing here. There was a lot of names getting mixed up. There were cats getting misgendered by the text a couple of times. There's apparently even two misspoken names in the audiobook that I guess they just didn't bother to get a second take on it, which I think is very funny.
Cool.
It just seems like the editing and production on this book particularly seems like rougher around the edges, and I don't have an explanation for why that is, but I thought it was notable enough that I wanted to bring it up. That's what I got for the Erin Corner. Why don't you take us to Sharing Tongues?
I would love to take us to Sharing Tongues. Let's do it. So, as I mentioned before, there's some opinions. This one from Just a Pigeon, Squirrelflight's Hope and the confrontation scene with an uncharacteristically cruel Mothflight, as well as the rest of StarClan by extension, would have been such a good opportunity to do away with the stupid menacing cats can't have mates or kits rule forever, and they blew it for the sake of a little more Squirrelflight and Leafpool abuse, before coming to the conclusion that was obvious from the start. Mothflight could have been directly challenged for the fact that despite how much she struggled in her time, and had basically no support whatsoever, times have long since changed, and that medicine cats finding love and raising a family is entirely plausible in the modern clans. 100% agree. Mothflight, get bent.
So true.
This one got me right in the heart from Timlets at Tumblr. Warrior Cats really has a special way of pulling at your heartstrings. When I think about how Leafpool died rescuing someone else's kits from a collapsing tunnel, it drives me crazy because 1, her instinct to be a mother after all these years and rescue the kittens was stronger than her fear of death. 2, the collapsing tunnel directly parallels how Hollyleaf quote-unquote died in the tunnels. Leafpool most likely blames herself for Hollyleaf leaving in the first place, and even though Hollyleaf was later revealed to be alive, there's a great likelihood that Leafpool had insane grief at her first death. Leafpool rescuing the kits is almost like she was trying to rescue Hollyleaf at her lowest point. Leafpool, I love you. I'm emo. Ugh. Yeah, that hurts.
Ooh.
Thinking about the Leafpool Hollyleaf parallels and relationship makes me fucking insane. This was a comment on a post about StarClan being complete wackos in this scene. Maybe they got radicalized in some way after their deaths. StarClan alt-right pipeline real? This one from Jolit. So one star can lie to his clan his entire life, nearly causing the destruction of Shadow Clan, and be let right into Star Clan because Tallstar thinks he's a good guy deep down, or is too embarrassed to admit he fucked up by making him leader, while Squilf and Leafpool have to defend their actions to the cat who told them, on behalf of Star Clan, to do exactly what they did, and even lied to them to coerce them into making that specific decision. Correct.
Yeah.
This is what we are saying.
Exactly.
There's a shockingly large amount of people who hate the sisters specifically because they're like, they treat Tom so poorly. And I'm like, okay, they don't treat them well. That's true. They do kick all of their sons out. Mm-hmm. But I think we're being a little bit dramatic here.
They also do, they have a lot of stereotypes about men.
They do.
They do the oh men, but like, it's not, guys, that's giving very I'm a man to me.
It's giving pick me energy.
It's really, yeah. Yeah, I think we can.
I think they have their issues.
They do have their issues.
But I don't think we need to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they are the worst because they they just hate men. And I'm like, whoa, let's chill out.
I think we can pump the brakes a little bit.
This one from Quiverpaw is just this gorgeous piece of Squirrelflight and Leafpool. Hurts me.
Aww.
Oh, this one also hurts. From Residents of the Dark Forest. You ever think about how Leafpool and her mentor both died saving kits?
Oh, who boy.
There's a lot of really good sisters designs out there. Just these big buff Maine Coon cats. Love seeing those in the tag. They're great. And then this last one is a nice, fun little goofy one. Would you say the sisters are more girl boss, gatekeep, or gaslight?
I think they're gatekeep.
I think they're gatekeep. I agree. I think they're gatekeep.
I think they're gatekeeping. I love
That's from Saffronique. Thank you for the stimulating question. Mm-hmm. AO3, there's 13 works for this book. Lots of little character drabbles, mostly. There's one fic that's like Ashfur missing scenes, like exploring like what Ashfur's time in StarClan has been like. Interesting choice. I did not click it. Because I know things. There are some drabbles of Squirrelflight mourning her sister. And there's one fic where it's a ship of Moonlight and Squirrelflight, which I think is an interesting choice. I will say, I did think an interesting moment, it was only there for like half a second, but an interesting moment for Squirrelflight in the book was when she was like thinking about how the sisters like don't have these strong emotional bonds with their mates. They just, mate with a Tom to have kids. And she's like, interesting. It's like, okay.
I feel like whoever wrote that, the drabble might have read the one line where Squirrelflight offhandedly thought something about that Moonlight smelled like home or something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
was like, oh, I could work with that. Because I thought that was a wild line.
I've worked with less. There are 127 fics about the relationship between Squirrelflight and Leafpool, which I think is great. We love sisters. Lark and Spark only have 8 fics where their ship is tagged, and most of them are not the focus in that fic. Sorry. And Moonlight has 8 fics as well. YouTube came for my throat. There's some really, and most of these aren't even necessarily like for this book. They are just, a lot of them are
sisters.
Yeah, a lot of them seem more related to like Leafpool's wish. Mm-hmm. But they focus heavily on Leafpool and Squirrelflight. So I was like, okay, well, we got it, or Squirrelflight and her life and things like that. There's some really, goddamn, we got Sleeping at Last in here. We got The Fray.
Damn.
Oh,
Coming for us.
Coming for our throats. Then so there's two of them that are set to the Glee covers of Womanizer and Telephone. And I think it's mostly like just kind of girl boss sisters moments, but the designs for Squirrelflight and Leafpool in those are so cool. And then Try is really cute. It's not really specifically relevant to this book, but it is good for just some Squirrelflight and Leafpool ones. 2 a.m. is a sketch / storyboard kind of PMV that I think is really interesting. And then the last like actual MAP PMV whatever that I put on here, I saved this one for last because it did get me a little weepy, and I think it's a really excellent song choice for Squirrelflight. It is specifically a MAP about Squirrelflight set to King and Lionheart, which I think is just a very good song for her specifically. King and Lionheart by Of Monsters and Men.
I'll have to watch these later and be emotional about it.
Yeah. And then there is a jokey one that I also linked, which is Leafpool basically telling Squirrelflight, like, hey, if he's not gonna respect you, fuck that man. Yeah, it's really good. Let's see. There were 2 posts on Blue Sky that I picked up. This one from Wafer Biscuits, just their comment of, I simply can't believe anyone will manage to come out of this one with positive feelings about clan life. Yeah, so that was a little, I think that's a broad brush, but obviously it is a post on social media, not meant to be taken, with nuance. But like, yeah, there's several moments where it's like, can we stop being so xenophobic? It's making me uncomfortable.
It's rough out here sometimes, gamers.
And then there's this art from Wolven Face, and it's just a beautiful little Squirrelflight. And it says, I loved it when she said, it's Squilfin time in Squirrelflight's Hope, and squilfed all over the place. I am not immune to it's Morbin time jokes. I think they're always funny. And then lastly, Storygraph. We have 3.95 out of 311 reviews. 3.95 stars is actually way higher than I expected to see based on like all of the stuff I have heard on the internet about this book.
Yeah.
I did not rate it that high. Just a couple of picked out quotes from some reviews. This should have been called Squirrelflight Suffering instead. It's true. And this was my major complaint that somebody else put words to. A lot of characters felt like they had the role of angry mob member pushed onto them. You're telling me none of these cats other than Squilf have compassion?
Yeah, that was definitely a huge issue with this book.
This one, whoever wrote the super edition is superimposed their marriage problems. Please get a divorce. Also, this is the final one. Also, if Bramblestar wanted a deputy who would just agree with him on everything, then he should have chosen some other cat. Yeah. Squirrelflight is not known for being a yes man. And then
which I think is even
the reason that he chose her.
Yeah, to give Bramblestar some credit, he remembers that by the end of this book.
Oh, for sure.
He does have a line where he's like, yeah, I was not being fair to you, and you make me better by challenging me.
Yeah.
Even he is like, damn, past Bramblestar, what are you doing, man?
And then their second comment on here was, Squirrelflight is the deputy ThunderClan needs, but not the one Bramblestar deserves. So that is general vibes on Squirrelflight's Hope out there.
Wow. not necessarily as much vitriol as I expected.
No, and I will say, like, there was plenty out there that I just like, kind of
you highlighted.
Didn't highlight because it essentially we kind of already talked about the reasons people don't like this book.
Yeah, makes sense.
And again, I think there are some valid reasons for people to not like this book. Not to say you can't just dislike a book because you dislike a book. I think there are some reasons that like I can understand for not liking this book. And then there are reasons that I'm like, I didn't have that read. Namaste, peace on your journey. Like, we will simply have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah. Listening to all this did remind me of something that I've brought up in the past and forgot to bring up during the Erin Corner, which is take this with a grain of salt and also take from it what you will. But it is worth noting that Kate Carey, who wrote this book, has stated herself before that she doesn't like Bramblestar very much. And I think she's not the hugest fan of Squirrelflight or Leafpool either. But I think that she did a fine job writing both of them. But I had that in my mind of like, how does my knowledge of Kate Carey not being the biggest fan of these characters color the way that I read this book in some ways? Yeah, because she has especially said some very ungenerous things about Bramblestar across many years of like before this book was written, not just after she wrote this. She is often outspoken about not liking Bramblestar very much.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, I suppose,
as we go forward.
Here at the end of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do we want to talk about our Warrior Cat of the Week?
Yeah.
I am looking at the way that they're both. So we black them out on our notes document so the other person doesn't like see them until we reveal. And I think ours are the exact same size. So I'm wondering if we have the exact same Warrior Cat of the Week.
We might have the same one this week. I chose Leafpool.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her death book, but also every time that she was there, she was sort of this voice of reason in a way that it's not. She was being very comforting to Squirrelflight without just yes-manning her. Like she was being Squirrelflight to Squirrelflight's, she was being Squirrelflight was Bramblestar and Leafpool was Squirrelflight for Squirrelflight, where she was like helping her to see a different perspective on a lot of things, and was just a really like a wonderful part of this book. I really, really liked Leafpool here.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, I think the way that she was there for Squirrelflight, she was just such a good presence in this book that I gotta give her the love.
Yeah. Fly high, Leafpool.
We'll miss you, Queen.
We'll miss you. Come talk some sense into them damn StarClan cats, will you? Don't join them.
Don't let them bring you down.
Don't let them poison your mind.
Christ.
And with that, should I take us out?
Yeah, go ahead and take us out.
If you have thoughts, opinions, questions, or memes to share with us, you can write to us at pawsandclawspod@gmail.com. That's paws as in what a cat has, claws as in the part of speech, pod as in podcast. We are also on Blue Sky at Paws and Claws and on Tumblr at Paws Clause Pod. Listeners who are 18 years and older can come join us on Discord, which will be linked in the show notes. We are brought to you by the TWG Podcast Network, which you can find at theworstgarbage.online. You can find me on Tumblr or Blue Sky at Humble Goat and see the art that I do, including our podcast cover art at scoutwilkinson.myportfolio.com.
And you can find me on Blue Sky at plot-twists or on Tumblr at antique-romantic. Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, where we will discuss The Broken Code, Book 1, Lost Stars. Read along by buying the book from a local bookstore or checking out a copy from your local library. Until then, dear listeners, may StarClan guide your paws.
TWG, the worst garbage, the online.